Hello, welcome to the training for the World Savvy Challenge online regional event. The purpose of this video is to discuss the online competition and the student presentations that will be judged during this event. This will be the first online competition for the World Savvy Challenge. All student presentations will be submitted by March 15th, and judging will begin on Monday, March 19th. All scores must be submitted by the 28th of March, and winners will be announced on March 30th. You will be judging student presentations, which are submitted in the form of websites and documentaries, as well as action roundtables, which are collaborative discussions that will take place on an online forum called Edmodo. All of the events except the student question and answer period for the documentaries and websites can be judged on your own time. On March 19th, you will receive an email inviting you to log in to the online scoring system to access the links for the student documentaries and websites you will be judging. You will also be notified about the time of your Q&As, which will be scheduled according to your availability based on an online survey you have been asked to complete. This system will also tell you which action roundtables you will be judging. The next slides will go into a bit more detail about what is involved in judging each of these events. Online presentations will be in one of two formats, a website or a documentary. The website is a visual representation of students' research and solutions. Teams may choose their own layouts, so each website that you evaluate will look different. Websites should contain no more than 800 visible student-composed words. This rule will be enforced by proctors, so judges do not need to count the words. The design of the website should enhance the presentation of information and be easy to navigate. All pages should be linked to one another with a menu that helps viewers navigate the site. Students may include multimedia components such as music, images, film clips, and animation, but these should be used thoughtfully. They should enhance the website without taking away from the content. The documentary is a filmed piece that uses audio and visual evidence to investigate an issue or tell a story. Documentaries should be an original production of the students and may incorporate multiple forms of media such as music, images, film clips, and animation. Any clips, music, video, or other materials that are not created by the students must be credited to their original sources in the credits as well as in the annotated bibliography. All editing and production will be done by the students. Teams may develop their own format but can include reenactments, interviews, and images. Text should be used minimally as we do not want the documentary to resemble a slideshow. It should be edited in a way that creates logical and clean transitions, and narrated and acted portions should be polished and well rehearsed. World Savvy has created detailed scoring rubrics that you will use to judge each presentation. The rubrics will focus your attention on 5 areas: content, skills, presentation, the knowledge to action plan, and the bibliography. I'm going to take some time to run through the rubric now, but please keep in mind that all rubrics can be found on our website, so you are free to examine them whenever you would like. The first area of the rubric is content knowledge. For this part of the rubric, we are asking you to pay attention to the information and understanding that students demonstrate during their presentation. Do they have an understanding of the theme of sustainable communities, and does their topic directly relate? Do they present multiple perspectives on their topic, or do they focus only on one limited perspective? Do they make connections between what is currently happening and what has happened in the past? Are they looking at this problem from a global perspective, so in at least 3 countries, or have they focused only on 1 or 2 countries? And finally, have they presented a comprehensive solution at the local, national, and global level? The next area is skills. For this section, you will be evaluating students' ability to work as a team, communicate their information clearly, and think critically and creatively about their topic. Some of these things will be clearly demonstrated during the presentation, such as whether their information is presented in a way that is easy to follow and understand. Do they present their own thoughts along with current thinking? And for a documentary, does everyone know their roles and have a clear understanding of what they should be doing? Other things will come out during the question and answer session, such as how teams divided up their work, do they all seem to have an equal understanding of the project, etc. Unlike the other sections in the rubric, this section is slightly different for websites than it is for documentaries. That being said, they are still measuring the way in which students are presenting their information. Is it of high quality? Are materials that they use neat and carefully put together, or does it look like something that was just thrown together at the last minute? Do students clearly lay out their information in a way that is easy to follow and understand? Is their presentation creative and engaging for the audience? The final two sections of the rubric are the Knowledge to Action Plan and the Annotated Bibliography. The Knowledge to Action Plan is when students think of how they can personally take action on the problem they have identified. The purpose of this process is to teach them about informed action. Once they know the ins and outs of a problem, they are able to think critically and creatively about the types of action that will yield the best results. Keeping that in mind, you will be assessing whether or not their plan is feasible, and if they've made a clear connection between the problem and their course of action. You'll be able to access the student's Knowledge to Action Plan via a link in the online scoring system. You should be sure to download Adobe Reader, as most Knowledge to Action Plans will be in PDF form. For the Annotated Bibliography, you will be examining the quality and diversity of the sources students have used. Annotations of about 3 sentences in length should accompany each source and explain how they used this source and why it was helpful. Please keep in mind that you are not judging the format of their bibliography. We have left it up to teachers to decide the format. So formatting is not something you need to think about. Like the Knowledge to Action Plan, the bibliography will be uploaded and you'll be provided with a link to view the bibliography online in PDF form. By following the link on this page, you can see all of the rubrics, and here's a snapshot of what they look like in PDF form. As an online judge, you will be entering your scores into an online document that looks very similar to these rubrics. For each presentation that you judge, whether a website or a documentary, you will have an opportunity to engage in a Q&A session with the students that produce the work. This will take place on chatc.com. World Savvy will create a chat room and email a link to you and the students at an agreed upon time, based on the availability you shared in the online survey sent to you. As you can see from this image, you will be able to ask questions and engage with students in real time. You'll be accompanied by about 5 or 6 other judges who are assessing the same piece of student work. When you enter the room, it will ask for your name. Please use judge as your first name and then whatever your last name is so that it is clear to the students which judge is asking a question. Please take turns and allow other judges in the room to ask questions as well. This process will take 15 minutes, at which point a World Savvy staff member will let you know that time is up. There are a few important things to remember about the Q&A session. We ask that you focus on the process. You can ask students questions like, why did you choose this topic? How are the responsibilities divided up? Why did you choose this format? What resources were particularly helpful to you? We want students to have been thinking critically and carefully about their choices, and these types of questions get to the heart of that. This should be a positive experience for students. This is not the time for criticisms. All scores will be shared with the teachers, so if you have constructive criticism that you think the students should hear, please type them into the comment section when entering your scores, and let the teacher discuss it with them. Do not debate with the students. You may not agree with the arguments they are presenting, but the Q&A is not a time to engage in a debate. In addition to the student presentations that you'll see, you'll also participate in a collaborative problem-solving exercise called an Action Roundtable. For this exercise, World Savvy creates new teams so that students are working with peers from other schools. They will be given the profiles of real-world organizations that are working within the realm of sustainability, discuss the merits of each organization, and then agree on which one should receive an imaginary grant. Once consensus is reached, students will share their decision with judges, and you will then have the opportunity to ask them some questions. Students get to apply their knowledge in a new way, work in groups with new peers, practice consensus building, and listen to the views of others during this process. The online Action Roundtable will take place on edmodo.com. As you can see from this image, there will be a group page created for each Action Roundtable team. Over the course of a week, starting on March 19th, students will engage with one another by posting comments and questions back and forth on this page. World Savvy will email you a link to edmodo.com, along with a 6-digit code that allows you to join your Action Roundtable group. You can see the group code on the top right-hand corner of this image. During the first week, you may log into the page and read over the comments, but you should not post anything during this time. At the end of this week, the students will do a final post in which they present their final decision. At that time, you may begin posting questions. Both you and the students will have 3 days to post questions and answers to this page. You will be joined with 2 or 3 other judges who will be engaged in the same process with that same team. After 3 days, you will complete the assessment rubric for this activity. Much like the Q&A after student presentations, remember that your job is not to agree or disagree with the decision that the students came to, but rather get them to think critically about the choices they just made. If you would like to see how Chatzy works prior to the competition, World Savvy will have 2 opportunities for you to do this. The first is on Tuesday, March 6th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and the second is on Wednesday, March 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We will send you a link for the chat room just prior to start time, so please join us to see how it works. This is also a great time for you to ask any questions that you might have. Finally, we will be sending you a link to a brief quiz. The purpose of this quiz is to make sure you understand the process of judging these presentations online. Please be sure to complete this quiz prior to March 15th. Thank you in advance for your cooperation. If you have any questions at all, please contact Charmaine Campbell-Patton, National Program Manager for the World Savvy Challenge, at the information on your screen. Thank you again for all that you have done to give your time and energy to the World Savvy Challenge and support these students as they share their research and solutions on this critical issue of sustainable communities.